right, let's talk about the F word. A lot of people misunderstand this word. It keeps so many people bound to the past. You relive the wounds, you feel bitter and trapped, you fall into cycles of self-betrayal. And maybe you even had some Bible thumpers throw some verses at you. All the while you've been blindsided and you're just trying to process this burden of hurt and pain that's been dropped into your lap. These people mean well, but out of context, it just leaves hurting people feeling suppressed, guilty, and pressured to forgive. But forgiveness is not about excusing bad behavior. It's not about being a doormat. And it's definitely not sweeping it under the rug and pretending it didn't happen. And again, so many of us get this wrong, and that's why we stay stuck in resentment for years. And so today I'm going to shed some light on some of the mistakes that I made, as well as mistakes I see others make when it comes to forgiveness, and shed some clarity on this so that you can experience the freedom that forgiveness is actually meant to bring. First things first, forgiveness is not a one-size-fits-all. There are actually two dimensions when it comes to forgiveness. And the first mistake is thinking forgiveness equals reconciliation. There are two dimensions. The first is vertical forgiveness. This is between you and your God, your universe, your source, higher self, whatever you resonate with. This is about releasing this burden, surrendering the pain to something higher than yourself, and making a decision to reclaim your peace, regardless of what the other person is doing, whether they apologize or not, whether they're actually sorry or not. You are unhandcuffing yourself from this situation, and you are liberating yourself as a prisoner. The second part to this is called horizontal forgiveness. Now, this one is what a lot of people mistake forgiveness for. Horizontal forgiveness is between you and another person. This is relational, and it may or may not happen. This requires willingness, it requires accountability, it requires boundaries if any type of relational restoration is going to take place, because it would be unwise to get back involved when those things are not present. Just remember, you can still forgive vertically without ever forgiving horizontally. The reality is restoration doesn't always happen, and that's the thing a lot of people miss. Chinese philosopher Lao Tzu says, "Nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished." And the second mistake I see with forgiveness is people trying to rush the process. A lot of times we just want to brush over the pain, especially if this is someone that we love, someone dear to us. We want to move forward. We just want to feel better. But when you do this, you deny a part of yourself, that part that's hurting. And any type of pain that you bury alive is gonna come back. When we force forgiveness like that and we rush the process because we want everything to be okay. And I even remember personally when I was dealing with something very painful, it in fact changed the trajectory of my life. I had people at my church asking me, "Are you still dealing with this? Why aren't you walking in forgiveness?" They may hit you with the Matthew 18:22, forgive 70 times 7, or Matthew 5:39, turn the other cheek. Or how about this one, Matthew 6:15, about God not forgiving you unless you forgive others. Again, I think people mean well, they're just very ignorant about how forgiveness is processed. And when you're on the other side of that, you're not trying to hear that. And some people like to use forgiveness as a badge of, being strong, being spiritual. But on the inside, a lot of people are holding on to resentment. They're holding on to anger and pain. And this eats away at yourself over time. And the truth is, you need space to feel this pain before you are able to release it. So don't rush the timeline. Don't allow anybody to dictate your timeline. and do it when you're ready. And don't let anyone guilt you into their timeline. All right, and this third one piggybacks off our second one, and that is using forgiveness to bypass your emotions. Again, some religions and cultures have conditioned us to see forgiveness as this upstanding, moral, strong charactered attribute. All the while, deep down inside, you carry betrayal, anger, sadness. And that unprocessed pain doesn't just disappear like that. This can shape your self-concept in an unhealthy way. And again, some people forgive just to move on from it, just to put it behind them without processing it. You don't know what you're forgiving. You don't know the impact that what has occurred has had on you. And a lot of times you don't realize these things until after the fact. There may be some losses. There may be some natural consequences that come with this. There may be some changes that have occurred because of this. The truth is, real forgiveness happens after emotions are processed. Okay, so we may have gotten an introduction to forgiveness as kids when something happened, we were forced to hug. And it's a very sweet thing because one child will hug the other and they'll say, "Oh, I'm sorry," and the other kid will say, "That's okay." And that leads us to our fourth mistake, which is believing that forgiveness excuses their behavior. And the reality is, what happened, it was not okay. Just because you choose to forgive or you decide to forgive, that does not mean that you are okay with what happened. You're not minimizing the harm or the impact that it had on you, the impact that it had on your mental, your emotions, the impact that it has on your physical body. Forgiveness is not minimizing the harm. Forgiveness is just acknowledging the wound and saying, this is not okay, but I will be okay. And I'm choosing to not allow this to define me. The last one is the best one. Again, you may have been hit with the Matthew 18:22, forgive 70 times 7. And this mistake is forgiving without boundaries. Forgiving without boundaries is allowing that person to continue to wound you again and again. There are natural consequences when it comes to some things, and those consequences are boundaries. Boundaries are not to control the other person. Boundaries protect you from the impact of others' decisions that hurt you. It protects you from the pain of their actions. You have every right to forgive and protect your peace. Don't let anyone guilt you into moving your boundaries just because they don't like the natural consequences that comes with you being hurt. If somebody tramples your garden, forgiveness might release them, but that's not going to bring your flowers back. If you want a beautiful garden or a beautiful life, you still have to replant those flowers and tend to the soil. That's your recovery work. And yes, it's not your fault. Yes, it happened to you, but remember, forgiveness as we have defined it here is an inner release. You are releasing yourself as a prisoner from this experience. Reconciliation may or may not happen. That's up to you, but it's not necessary, and you can forgive while holding strong boundaries. When you let go of these mistakes, forgiveness becomes less about them and more about you, your peace, your freedom, and your sovereignty. Was there anything I missed in this video? Let me know in the comments. And also, let me know if you would like me to create another video about the essentials of forgiveness and if we should have more conversations like this. Thanks for watching.